It's not a contact sport, it's a collision sport. It's pretty rough, and my job was to be the enforcer. Being an enforcer is like being a policeman. It's to make sure that your goal scorer or anyone on your team doesn't get hurt. I like taking care of people. Hockey gave me that opportunity of protecting my team, my family. It was a pleasure to wake up every morning and go do that for your job. Grew up in the suburbs of Chicago and Wilmette. Very active in sports, very active family life. Very blessed to have a good family. You usually start when you can walk. Wayne Gretzky started when he was 2. I started when I was 8, which is really late for a kid, but I caught on very quick. I fell in love with it. I was getting ready to hopefully fulfill my dream and sign it with an NHL team, and I was pretty much there, and didn't feel good. I was getting ready to go back to training camp and started sweating profusely and slept for 20 hours a day, and I just knew something was wrong. I went to the hospital and they probably said I had it probably for a year and a half prior. I went from 225 pounds to 150 in like a month. I had mucositis in my throat, bleeding. Every time I took pills, I was bleeding out of my mouth, my ears, even once my eyes because I was wrenching so bad. The doctor said that there was a drug that wasn't even FDA approved yet called Gleevec, and that was really the only chance that I had was to try that, which saved my life. I never thought about cancer before I had it. I think what I've gained out of it is definitely compassion. God forbid that you ever had to go through what I went through. You don't know. I was playing professional hockey. I was on top of the world. And all of a sudden the next day they tell me I had 2 weeks to live. So you got 2 options. You can quit or you can fight. And I fought my whole life and surely wasn't going to stop then, and I'm not going to stop now.
When they ask the kids in high school, what do they want to be when they grow up? So in many places, the top position is a doctor or a lawyer. In Israel, the top position is a researcher. The young scientists coming into academic positions in Israel now are unbelievable.
Scientists in Israel have a difficult time supporting their research, and that sources for funding research in Israel are very limited.
The ICRF is basically a star in this.
I think the ICRF is really the most committed group of people, both to research, to cancer, and in particular to Israel. Getting an ICRF award is not only the actual support of your work, but it's also a stamp of quality, I would say. The very first scientific grant that I got was from the ICRF. That grant really enabled me to do the first study starting to look at the frequency of mutations in Jewish women with breast and ovarian cancer. And once you have those preliminary results, once your lab starts growing, you could start applying to other sources of funding, get further support. It's like the launch of a rocket. Takeoff is the most difficult energy-consuming stage. And the ICRF, I think, certainly was my takeoff, and I know it's true for a lot of Israeli scientists.
Methylation actually plays a very, very big role in cancer. And the reason why the cancer cell is behaving bad is because its gene regulation is messed up. It's making components that it shouldn't be making, and it's not making components that it should be making. And this all comes about because of changes in DNA methylation. But none of that would have been possible, none of it, without the basic research.
Unfortunately, there's very little funding by government or big pharma on basic research. And if you do not have basic research, you do not have discovery.
We've seen discoveries by Chikanover and Hershko that have led to Velcade that saves millions of lives. We've seen discoveries by Kanani that resulted in the development of Gleevec that is saving thousands of lives. It wasn't that they discovered the drug, but the basic science that they did led to the discovery of the mechanisms upon which those drugs are based.
This is not religion, it's not secular, it's not just a piece of geography. What goes on here impacts the entire universe.
I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart that I'm glad that you did start this foundation, because if doing it helped save my life, so thank you.